With this global meeting held in the city of Yokohama, Japan, the African continent is more than ever set on a quest for prosperity. The fifth edition of the International Conference on African Development, or TICAD, kicked off on Saturday with the objective of developing strategies for the continent's development in a tough international economic context.
I'm sure you'll all agree with me that further efforts are needed to make TICAD more result-oriented in accordance with the evolving global context and Africa's own priorities.
The three-day conference, titled Hand in Hand for a More Dynamic Africa, is organized around three areas: a strong and sustainable economy, an inclusive and resilient society, and finally, peace and stability. Three projects which are estimated to cost billions of euros in infrastructure development. In 5 years, Japan will support Africa's growth through public and private support, estimated at 3,200 billion yen or 24.2 billion euros, including an official development assistance estimated at 1,400 billion yen or 10.6 billion euros. Ethiopian Prime Minister and Chairman of the African Union, Hailemariam Desalegn, said that Japan was one of the first countries to support the continent at the end of the Cold War. In a moment, he added, where many considered Africa as dead, for him, Japan must remain a partner of choice despite the arrival today of potential investors like China, which has become the largest trading partner of Africa in 2009.
It is, however, ironic that Japanese involvement in the area of investment in the continent is a far cry from the kind of huge presence it should by now have achieved compared to relative newcomers currently active in Africa.
40 African and Japanese political leaders attended the meeting. Donor countries, the private sector, and actors from the civil society were also invited to the venue. Secretary General of the UN, Ban Ki-moon, also attended the conference.
In 2011, when the triple disaster hit Fukushima, the Japanese people stood firm for Africa during that crisis moment. That year, Japan gave the United Nations more than $1.5 billion for development activities.
Japan also said that it intends to send to Africa 1,000 agricultural trainers with the hope of doubling rice production in sub-Saharan Africa by 2018. The Japanese also announced an education support project for 20 million children and a project to improve access to drinking water for 10 million people.